The Texas quarterback situation has become increasingly interesting. The conversation around that room at the beginning of the year was Hudson Card and Quinn Ewers kind of going back and forth. Then you had Quinn Ewers really take hold of the job and alleviate a lot of concern as it pertained to that position. And like I said, we had one of our own audience members have a tweet really blow up. My man, JTellers22, tweeted it out, and I thought it was perfect the way he articulated it. And I'm going to read that off for you right now. He said, Texas fans, in terms of their point of view, he said, against Alabama, we win if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt. Against Texas Tech, we win that game if Quinn Ewers plays. Against Oklahoma, Quinn Ewers is the man, NFL bound. We're set. Now, he said Okie Light. I'm assuming that's Oklahoma State. He said, pull Quinn Ewers for Hudson Card. That was the narrative. Against TCU, the narrative was Quinn is no good. Arch is starting next year. So one, this was funny. This was a funny tweet. The reason why it was funny, as with all good jokes, there's a little bit of truth to it. I think that tweet in some small part takes a good temperature of what the approach and the posture towards that quarterback room is right now. So I'm going to kind of go through the three prospects that you have right now in the quarterback room, or are going to have, between Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, and Hudson Card. Let's break it down. What did you think about Quinn Ewers prior to 2022? What was your analysis on him? In large part, the analysis was, hey, young quarterback, very talented, a lot of tools. It'll be his first year starting. Capable of doing some really good things. Fast forward the tape. We're here 10 games into the season. I have the same estimation of Quinn Ewers as I did before the year as I do now. I don't think he's done anything on the field as a guy who should be a true freshman based on, him leaving a year early from high school. He's done nothing on the field, for me at least, to deter that report on him. Played really well in some games, looked like a freshman in other games. Kind of the way the whole thing goes. Now, I think after 10 games, a lot of people are saying, well, he's not the guy. He's not the answer. Really? Are you sure about that? Are you really already set on giving up on the Quinn Ewers operation at Texas? I think that would be very much naive. In some small part because 8 of the 11 starters on this Texas offense, including Quinn Ewers, are either a freshman or a sophomore. Bottom line, he's new, and he's got a whole lot of people around him that are new. And oh, by the way, it's year 2 under Steve Sarkisian. What are you expecting from him? In year 1, what was the expectation? Vegas had him at 8.5 wins, 2 games left there at 6 wins, and they could be a half game under what Vegas thought they would be at. All right? That's kind of the fact of the matter. When I look at this Quinn Ewers situation, if you're giving up on him already, I would akin that very much so to cooking a steak, right? Hey, really nice steak, a lot of potential, great ingredients. They say cook it for 4 hours. Well, if you're giving up on Quinn Ewers, you're coming back after the first hour, hour and a half and saying this steak isn't any good. We need to just throw this steak out. We're done with it. What's the sense in that? Did you think you were going to get Quinn Ewers' maximum potential in his first year starting? Surely that wasn't the approach at the beginning of the year. Let's not be a victim to the moment now. After some subpar performances against TCU and against Oklahoma State, he did not play his best football. But you've seen he has the tools. He has it under the hood to be really, really special. Hudson Card is a name that has circulated a lot more in Texas circles as the conversation has grown with, hey, is he the best option right now to help us win games? I think that's, not an unfair conversation to have as it pertains to these next 2 games, but I would not start Hudson Card for the following reasons. He has an extremely high floor. Very, very solid player. In his career at Texas, he's somewhere around 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, at least in the last 2 years. Here's my question, though. Are you winning 10 games with Hudson Card as starting quarterback? Are you winning a Big 12 title? Do you find yourself in better position with Hudson Card at quarterback than you do right now with Quinn Ewers? I don't think so. Not to knock Hudson Card. I think you kind of know what you have in him. Like I said, he's a very high floor player. The offense under Hudson Card, to me, is a lot like a Jetta Volkswagen. Solid car. Get you from A to B, no problem. Is it going to break the sound barrier? Is it going to be able to, really maneuver extremely effectively? I mean, I don't think so. It's not really what it's built to do, but it's solid. It's a high floor. You brought Quinn Ewers to Texas because he has no ceiling. You brought Quinn Ewers to Texas because of what this offense can be under him. You know what it's going to be under Hudson Card. You know it will be solid. Will it be special? No, but it can be with Quinn Ewers. Just because you haven't seen that in his first year as a starting quarterback doesn't mean that you have the final verdict on Quinn Ewers. You just don't. Regardless of what you think you've seen on tape or what you think you've seen, from a decision-making standpoint, you don't know who Quinn Ewers is going to be yet, especially with 7 other guys around him that are either freshmen or sophomores. Folks, they have 2 freshmen starting on the offensive line. You don't think that impacts your situation a little bit as a starting quarterback, as an offense, in year 2 under new head coach? They're 6-4 right now. You finished the year last year in Austin 5-7. I know it's disappointing because you were in the hunt for a Big 12 title in the month of November, but you would take that a season ago. If I told you, hey, guess what? Next year, you're going to be right in the hunt in November. You're going to have your chance to kind of control your own destiny and get to Arlington. You'd say, thank goodness, it's going to get better. Texas fans, it has gotten better. Is it microwavable ready overnight? No, it hasn't been. And in some ways, that's frustrating because a lot of other programs around you at TCU football, they have microwaved it in terms of a new head coach and having a chance to win a Big 12 title. Don't give up on the Quinn Ewers situation just yet. That would be completely irresponsible, and that would be throwing a steak out after 1 hour of cooking it, when the whole steak, they told you beforehand, would take 4 hours to cook. So now we move this conversation to the Arch Manning perspective, because a lot of people after the TCU game when he was visiting said, oh boy, he saw that. He saw our dirty laundry. He saw Texas, classic Texas, quote unquote, not be able to win a big game against a good team in TCU. The offense looked anemic. No way he's coming here. Let's pump the brakes for a second there. Let's pump the brakes. I cannot stress this enough. Arch Manning is not decommitting from Texas. Look at the way he made this decision. This isn't just some teenager, some high school junior saying, you know what, Texas sounds like the best fit for me. I'm going to do that. I myself individually, my own decision, me and purely me and picking Texas. It probably was a piece of that. Like I think Arch Manning chose Texas independently. To the same token, his camp around him was very much involved, to my understanding, with him deciding on Texas. Texas was a business decision for Arch Manning and for the Manning family, which includes guys like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. They got some jewelry from the NFL. You understand what I'm saying here? I promise you, they accounted for the fact that this was a possibility. At worst, being 6-6, 8-4, 7-5. He was picking between schools like Alabama and Georgia and Texas. Alabama and Georgia are going to win a lot. If winning a national title was number 1 on his list of priorities in picking a college, I'm not saying Texas won't do it. I'm just saying you have a much safer bet in schools like Alabama and Georgia that have done it more recently. So this was accounted for. This was a part of the equation and considered when Arch Manning decided on Texas, when the Manning family signed off on Texas. Also consider this. He committed to Texas after they went 5-7 and missed a bowl game. They've improved since then. He's committing to an improved program. He committed to Texas when they were at rock bottom. And newsflash, they've recruited pretty well. I believe they have a top 10 class in the On3 2023 consensus team recruiting rankings. If I'm Arch Manning, I'm believing in myself, believing in my guys, and saying, okay, once we get there, give us some time under Steve Sarkisian. We're going to get this thing headed to where we want to go. But at the same time, I don't think he's betting on playing right away when he gets there. This entire operation was a business decision. And the way that recruiting works, kids commit to schools, yeah. People commit to people. Like Arch Manning committed to Texas, he committed to Steve Sarkisian even more so. So he committed there for the development, for the offense, for Steve Sarkisian, and what he's going to do for him as a quarterback for the college level and beyond. I promise you, that was the thought process. According to Vince Young, they're going to redshirt him. I believe he said that on First Take a couple of months ago. Just said, I understand, or I am hearing rather, that the plan is for Arch Manning to redshirt. I would imagine Arch Manning is cool with that. Picking Texas was about the long game for him. So if you're saying Arch Manning's going to come in here and start day one, he's going to beat out Quinn Ewers, it'll be his team, far be it for me to say that won't happen. But I would much more likely, I should say, bet on Arch Manning sitting behind Quinn Ewers maturing, getting better, and having a chance to be really successful in the future for this Texas football program. Now, a quick footnote in all this, going back to Hudson Card, a lot of people are talking about, well, if he doesn't start, is he going to be in the portal? I don't know what his situation is credit-wise. I believe he's in his 6th semester at Texas, but he's also in the Macomb School of Business. And a lot of you that know about Texas and that business program, that's a pretty nice piece of paper to have. So again, I don't know where he is on attaining that degree, but I would be wildly surprised, as would other people close to that program, be wildly surprised if Hudson Card if he does portal rather, he would do it as a graduate transfer. Something to keep an eye on. But at the end of the day, Quinn Ewers is your guy. You don't throw this steak out when it's 1 hour cooked and it takes 4 hours. Hudson Card is great, but Quinn Ewers has no ceiling, and that's why you brought him to Austin. Arch Manning, not decommitting, not going anywhere. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.